Hello, this is Barry the Baron Rowland. I wanted to talk to you today about the Confessions of a School Administrator, number 3. This is a position that I first held when I started my career, and it probably is the first administrative position that I had that was significant. It was also significant because it shaped my philosophy and my belief as far as education for the rest of my career. Back in the mid 60s, the school boards in Toronto, there are 6 of them at the time, decided they would start what they called special 2-year high schools. This was to accommodate kids who had been unsuccessful up to grade 8 predominantly, and who would not be able to uh, complete the work of a 5-year academic collegiate, but would have the opportunity to go to a grade 9-10 heavily technical program and then go to work following grade 10. All the districts started those at least one school. And in our district, the principal was appointed, a very competent, compassionate man, was given the authority to simply go to those individuals that he wanted to be part of his administrative team. There'd be no competition. He would simply decide on which people he wanted, and he would approach them. And all 35 schools we had in our district with staff was open for that particular opportunity. I was a very young teacher at the time, probably in my mid 20s, just started. And one day I received a phone call from this gentleman who simply asked me if I'd be willing to take over the head of the physical education department at that school. Of course, I was humbled and excited about the opportunity, and immediately agreed to become the head of phys ed at this particular school. It's a great opportunity to buy brand new equipment, set up your own staff, be able to have the best of a facility that was newly built. So it was an exciting opportunity. The students who came to the school were supposedly what was called slow learning students, whatever that might mean. And we soon found out that, in fact, the students that we received were not necessarily what you would typify as slow learners. Most of them had major behavioral issues that the grade schools had simply given up on and were looking for a place to send them because they had sent them out of the school, suspended them, sent them home, and they were academically not prepared to go to a regular collegiate. Um, we looked at the Ontario school records of some of these kids, and many of them tested at 100 up to 150 IQ, but they were not motivated. They had very meager support at home and had been unsuccessful. So those were the students that we received at this particular school. In very short order, it was obvious that 2 years wasn't going to be enough, and so as the school progressed through grade 9 and 10, it added grade 11 and grade 12 to the program. And at that time, schools and secondary schools had 5 years and had just gone back to 4. So we were on a comparable basis. As the head of phys ed, I decided that we were going to compete with the regular collegiates. We weren't going to compete with the 2-year schools across the city. The reason for that was simple, that these kids lived next door to kids who went to the academic schools in our area. Most of them came from our district. They were looked upon as disadvantaged, and the one area where they could be equal. And you saw it in the local district ball teams, soccer teams, hockey teams, was athletics. And I felt it was very important to lift them up. And that was an area where they could be extremely successful. So we decided to compete and in every sport, cross country, football, wrestling, track, basketball, gymnastics, and so on. But we did it in a very different way, in a very professional way. For example, in the cross country program, we had a food department who were willing to build and make pies for us. And simply at the beginning of the year, we would take all of our phys ed classes and have them run an obstacle course, lengthy course, same course as the district would run. And we had 20 pies. The top 20 kids take a pie home to mom. Well, those were our 20 kids of the cross country team. They could run. And in phys ed, we gave them maps. They were excluded from the regular phys ed program, and they were special. And they could run the various courses and until every single day. A lot of these kids had jobs after school, so having an after school program was very, very difficult. I started a wrestling team, actually two teams. Knew nothing about wrestling, learned about it, started a wrestling team, and we had so much success. We won every single meet within our district against very competitive academic schools, and we did well across the city and well across the province. Our hockey team was a junior team, did well in the junior league. Our track and field program, we ran the same process where kids who could throw the discus, could do the shot, could do the 800, were given a program, and during phys ed every day, then they had phys ed every day, they could go and practice where the other kids were part of the larger program. Football, of course, was a bit of a challenge, but in the junior league, we were able to get 1 year grace. That is 1 year older than the regular junior age, and although we didn't win, we were competitive, and the kids enjoyed the program. One of the things that was very, very important was to have the kids become what I would say better than anyone else. So when we went out to various schools, they wore shirts and ties. They were told that if they were in difficulty in class, they would not be accepted at practice. They saw that they were to handle themselves respectfully when they went to other schools. They built their reputation, and suddenly we had young people who had been downtrodden their entire life become focused, positive, with an incentive to achieve. Many of these young people I still see today. Many went on to for example, the Metropolitan Toronto Police Force, Fire Department. One young man was a leading chef at one of the Hilton hotels in Toronto. They all did extremely well because there was a focus and there was a need and there was a love for these kids. There are many other stories I could tell you, and I will dwell on this in another time. But what I learned that shaped my career was how important it is to provide positive support for young people, particularly those who had received very little, if any. The importance of having a standard and discipline with young people, and the importance of reward and encouragement for achievement. And all of that made sense with these people who everyone had given up on. I think we built a strong and solid reputation, and it's probably the part of my career that I remember the most because it meant the most to young people.